Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today just with, I think, like a little kind of in the studio, what have I been up to kind of video. I guess really just a recap, because I had a really lovely time this week on vacation. Took a nice little camping trip with my daughter and, well, with my family, but just my daughter and I slept over because my little guy still has school. So we had to organize our time a little differently than we normally would. But yeah, I've got a few things going on. I'll tell you a little bit about my trip and stuff. Before I left, though, I had prepared a few pages out of this book that I want to... I'm not making a storybook journal necessarily, but kind of going to use... hold on, I've got some things tumbling around over here. I have some things to show you. I'm going to use the pages as like sort of a theme for my book. So the story is this. It's East of the Sun and West of the Moon, but it's illustrated by Mercer Mayer in this case. And, you know, Mercer Mayer's illustrations are so nice. Probably famed most for the Little Critter series, but he's done so many beautifully illustrated books and things. So this is a really nice naturey feeling book, and I think this image really kind of sums it up. So what I did was I actually put together many of the images. So this will be like a interior page, and I'm just going to kind of organize them today into like a flow, like a story flow. So I want this to be my opening page, and I'm just going to sort of think about like what could be going on by just looking at the pictures, right? So I feel like here she's just getting introduced in the story. Here we have, some kind of an adventure where she's riding this fish and there's a frog. And then here there's, a boy who's been frozen. There's this ogre-y looking woman and the boy is with her. And maybe they've come upon some kind of a fight here. And maybe for a little while they lose to these ogres. But then things can get better in the end. And so, yeah, I'm just going to sort of pair these up into about, I'm thinking a 5 signature book. This probably is like a beginning of the book kind of page, so I'll put that in there. Then some kind of a middle adventure page. Oh, but this needs to be a center. So not all of these pages need to be centers, but some do. Let me see, what's this one? I think that one does. I might try to go, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got 5. All right, this is fine to be separated. We have a bit of a battle going on here. So we'll put that like that. Okay. And this needs something interesting on the outside anyhow. Okay. Yeah, that might be good. This is a much different process than how I usually build like storybook, journals. And it's kind of fun, to be honest. This, like this. And then one more, and she's sort of gathering things in a wintry scene. I think I might go, well, it needs to be in the middle though. And that one I don't want to separate because it's kind of like a love story. This one, no. No. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so those are going to be pages in a journal with this theme. I also finished a few collage boards before I left in the attempts to like tackle my scraps. And I think they're going to be fun. Not exactly sure yet what I want to do with them, but they're pretty fun collage boards. I'm just on the quest to use up all of the scrapbook paper that I don't really like. And so yeah, so I took this nice camping trip with my daughter primarily, and then my son and husband during the day. And it's not too far from where I live. These are the some papers that I've chosen to use in this book, so I'm just going to fold them while I chat. But we had a really nice site, and it was pretty decent to set everything up. We have a nice tent that we've had for ages, and this year I invested in also like a mosquito proofing tent to go over the picnic table on our site, because I thought it would be nice to be able to do food prep and also to eat and not be bit by mosquitoes or have other bugs bothering us. And that was a good investment because, yeah, it was exactly as I'd hoped. No bug bites. And the week before, my daughter had gone to like an ecological type camp. It's called a Forest Magic camp. And the mosquitoes were awful, and I feel like they had no really good way of protecting the kids. So I was like, I knew she loved the camp but did not love the experience with the bugs, so I wanted to make sure that she didn't have to deal with that this time around. This I think I might want to use as end papers, or possibly that's really nice. Yeah, I'll use this one maybe as end paper. So that one's a little busier. Yeah, let's use that as end paper. So we got all set up, got our food all in the cooler and all that kind of stuff all done. And then immediately my daughter just started meeting some of the other kids there, which was nice. There was like a really great family that were kind of across from us, and my daughter really befriended this little girl who was so sweet. She was so cute, and they had a baby, and he was also super cute. And then there were just generally nice people around. So this is like my first time really going camping in the summertime and with my kids, because I'm more of a, like, well, I shouldn't say my first time, it's not my first time, but as an adult with kids in the summer camping at like a busy family campground, I've never done that before. I am a more of a out in the middle of nowhere, not on a site kind of camper, but I recognize that's a lot harder with kids. So I wanted to give myself a little break, kind of, because camping is a lot of work to begin with. I'm going to show you the things that I thrifted also. Yesterday we went out for a little ice cream break, and my son, he's become a little thrifter now. He says he wants to go and look in the toys, and so I said, okay, we can take a little break. So we stopped into a Goodwill, and it was late in the day, and I just picked up a few things. So I don't know whose art this is, but they had a bunch of prints. I can't even tell, but this is from 1992, and it looks like the name starts with a C and then a B. I don't know, but look at this beautiful card print. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just a blank card with a nice big envelope. So yeah, that'll go into some kind of a journal situation, I'm sure. I love it though, it's beautiful. Then also there were some others. I was selective. I just got a couple of them. I think there was like some yellow flowers, but these were the two that I really liked, was the bunny and these chipmunks, which I was surrounded with while we were camping. There were so many inquisitive little chipmunks. Even one of them got into that bug-proofed tent somehow. He had crawled underneath it and gotten in, and it was so funny. He was like throwing himself at the walls and like clinging on the walls, and I was like, okay, we gotta get you out of here. So I unzipped, excuse me, the whole thing. I'm still a little sleepy. I unzipped the whole thing, and like he flew out of there, because, you know, the thing with being close to squirrels or chipmunks, you don't realize it until you find yourself in a situation, like, for whatever reason, I have multiple times, I don't really know why, until you're with them in like an enclosure or something, and they are so fast moving and totally like unhinged. So thankfully I got him out really quickly, but yeah, I was a little worried I was going to end up with like 800 scratches. Then I found this these are just transparency sheets. You know, we use them for all sorts of different things here. So this was $2.99. Also, I got to give it up to this kid working, well, not kid, but young man working at Goodwill. He was so entirely sweet. My son is a little bit like fixated on those little scanning guns that they use to scan things, and he allowed my son to scan everything that we bought. I was like, you are honestly the coolest. Thank you for that. My son was loving it, laughing his head off and having a great time, and the guy was being really sweet. So yeah, see, they're just these nice like color transparencies. They're great for you know, all sorts of things. Alcohol ink, you can print on them. They're just great. If you have a LaserJet printer, but I don't plan to print on them. I don't think. I'm probably going to do mixed media type things with them, or shaker cards or what have you. So yeah, I think that's the majority of what I have been doing and done. I cut out also, like before I left, I had like a day after I did all my tacking where I just like cut out a whole bunch of the pieces from the Journal Together kit that I released for this month of August, and I used a bunch of them in a journal that you'll see it soon if you haven't already, the Flowering of New England. But here's what I have left over, so I thought I might organize these pieces, these little labels and things, and put them away, because I'll be using them in different books. And then we had some really nice, okay, so I always find like cooking outdoors when you're out like camping or something, the food always just tastes really good, right? Like you're grilling, you know, all that kind of stuff. And there's something about breakfast when you're out camping that's just so great. Like bacon on a grill, if you're, you know, obviously not if you're a vegetarian, but bacon smells so good on a grill. And it's just like in the morning, you can either, you know, cook on the fire, but I tend to do some of my cooking on fires and some of it on a propane grill, like a flat, you know, Coleman stove for camping. And I do breakfast on the Coleman stove. It's like how it was done when I was a kid, except my uncle, who was like kind of a human grizzly bear, and he would be out like at 5 o'clock in the morning over this humongous fire pit that he would build when we would go camping, no shirt on, you know. And we used to do camping like round the seasons, and we would usually go in the fall with him, and it was pretty darn cold out, even in the summer where we camped, because it was on an island. Like we had to take a boat out to where we camped, but he'd be out there in any weather in the freezing cold, like no shirt on over the fire. He was a big grizzly hairy kind of guy, but he was really cool and had this big cast iron like pan. That's the only thing he would cook in. Like he swore by it. And so he'd be out there making like tons of food, like bacon and eggs and like super hearty breakfasts. And I think that has impressed a little upon me, because like I'm kind of the same, but you know, much less quantity. And you know, a smaller little Coleman stove, or a little fire. Like I like to cook. I like to cook, you know, meats for dinner and things like that, or like a nice big skillet of crusty buttery potatoes with herbs and butter, like, you know, too much butter probably, in a pan on a cast iron skillet over the fire. But breakfast for me is on the Coleman stove. And so what I was doing was making sort of simplified breakfast, just like bacon, you know, and then after you cook the bacon, make it really nice, just wrap it up in a paper towel so that, you know, extra fat can absorb off of it, so it's not so greasy, and then wipe the grill off most of the way, leaving a little bit of the bacon fat there, and then add butter, and then grill lovely fresh bread, and then put peanut butter on it. And my daughter was like, she was calling me a master chef. It was so funny. And she's like, "You're a way better chef than Dad." And so yeah, we were having a laugh. And then it was nice. So like the first day was really like sunny and nice, and like not too hot, except during the setup. It was stinking hot by the end of the setup of the 2 tents and everything, but I think that was just because we were so physically busy. And so we got that all done, and then it was so good to just go jump in the lake. There's a lovely little beach there, and there's a dam at the end of the beach that has a waterfall, and it's so pretty. And the kids had a blast at the beach, just lots of playing and having fun. And I was able to just swim out super deep in the lake like I like to do. I think I'd be very happy in my life if I could be one of those people, you know, like those older people often of like Nordic descent, or like, you know, some like European kind of people who just they spend like a lot of time in their old age just like getting up really early in the morning and jumping into a lake and swimming in the cold, whatever. Like, I would be so happy if I could do that. If I could just do art and swim a lot as I get older, I'll be a very happy person. Because yeah, it's just good. So I'm just putting these little bits and bobs away, like the little things like that I can fit into my big tray of random things, and then the other stuff I think will go into probably my ephemera bin, because it's pretty much ready to go. You know, these I could certainly make into something, but I might keep them around for Tuesday 10. Those actually. This envelope I made, this is from my kit. I thought this was a fun one. Illustrated these little birdies. I've been very, you know me, I'm a bird nerd, right? I've been very happy. I came back and saw my bird feeder. All the little baby finches from this year, and some sparrows as well, are all hanging around and enjoying the bird seed today. I think they were like, where has she been? But my husband filled it back up, actually, so they were taken care of in my absence. All right, so we've got some fussy cut kind of things. And I've also been thinking about, like, I'm kind of feeling Halloween already. I want to make, like, Halloween journals this year. I think I definitely want to make some more spooky-ish journals. I'm not sure of themes quite yet. But I think I also would like to make some children's book style Halloween journals, too. Because I've got some really great ones. Some, like, really well-illustrated ones that might, you know, cross the threshold for those of you who aren't really into kiddie stuff, but, like, you could appreciate good illustration. I might have some of that coming. I've got to look, but yeah, I'm sort of starting from scratch with where I want to go right now in terms of like what I want to make. I have a few commitments for this week that I need to work on. I got all of my packages out. I want to say thank you to all of you, so many of you actually, who sent me lovely birthday wishes or sent me really sweet messages about like have fun on like a well-enjoyed vacation and, you know, have a good time. Also to those of you, there were a few of you who messaged me to say like, okay, have fun, but like I miss you on YouTube. And that was really cute and very sweet and totally mutual, because, you know, I definitely notice when any of my friends are away and I'm like my YouTube people, and I'm like, okay, you know, when am I going to see this person again? And I often visit these channels and think like, is everything okay? Where are they at? You know, sort of thing. And so I totally get it. And I did have a good time. I feel pretty refreshed, and hopefully that's coming through other than in my few yawns, because, you know, the thing about camping, right? We had like, so the first, I think I cut myself off as I often do. So the first day was fun, swimming, set up, hot, swam, you know, got content. The next day we had rain for most of the day, and I personally love that. There's nothing better than just being like laying in a tent, listening to that trickling of rain, and like, you know, you can have your windows open because you've got your flaps and the nice breezes come through, especially if it's been really hot. So like we had some of that, which was nice. Although I've got to say, like, having it with kids is not as fun as just having it in general, because kids are like not nearly as like excited to deal with, you know, sitting around as you are as an adult, right? So I had to figure out ways to like entertain my daughter. We watercolored, and that was nice. I brought a watercolor palette and a book for her and a book for me, and we did a bunch of watercoloring, and that was really fun. We played skiboo or skipbo, as some people call it. I don't know. My grandmother called it skiboo, so I also do. Played cards, we read, we're reading some funny books, and yeah, it was just nice. And then there were some really cute kids across the way. I also got these jewelry bits I want to show you. Each of these bags was $2 at my local animal thrift store, and I don't even know what I have here, so I just want to take a look. It looks like some earring parts, and I'm gonna need to maybe build a few things here. Because I'm not going to make earrings, I'm going to make like journaling things, but lots of little bitty things that are kind of cool. And for $2, you know, that's great. I got it for these. I'll show you. These specifically are very cool. See these little branches They're great. So yeah, we had a nice rainy day, and then it got really cold. It went down to like 10 degrees or something at night, and I had the best sleep of my life, as I always do when I'm camping and it gets cold. So that was great. Oh, look at these little like lightning bolts. Those are fun. And feathers. Then the next day, like that evening, things kind of calmed down and we were able to swim out in the lake. The only kind of thing is, you have to be careful when there's been high amounts of rain, because it can bring the bacteria level up in the lake. Look at these. Those are really pretty. I'm glad I got these. They had a ton of bags of them and I just grabbed 2. I was like, I'll leave some for somebody else, but yeah, they're really cool. I don't even see these, but like they're like almost like a lily pad with, tendrils of something down the middle. These are like little kind of coggy shapes. Oh, and then there's like a big kind of key. That's cool. It just needs like stones in there. These twirlies. Yeah, and then that evening though, it did like calm way down and we were able to do the swimming, and we stayed just out of the general little roped in swimming area. I think my only complaint about the beach was that in the area that they have like tied a bunch of buoys together for the beachy area. Look at these like little diamond looking earrings. How cute are they? They don't clean the buoy line, and like you need to do that because like especially when the Canada geese are around in the summertime, lots of bacteria can build up if you're not really vigilant about it. I mean, the staff there were amazing. They were so tentative of like the bathrooms, and they were nice people, like just really cool people and like friendly. But yeah, I think that would be my one complaint, is like they need to remove that buoy thing and power wash it and put it back in, because the little kids, they're all swimming in there, and the bacteria I think is higher in there because the geese were all in there on the evening of that rainy day. And because like there's a dam down here, okay, then there's like a bit of a free open swimming area, but then there's like the little beach where they like buoy it in for the kids, and then over there is the dock and like more areas that like boats can go out and stuff. So what happens is all the water is rushing this way, and it's coming pretty good, but not like hyper speed unless it's been heavy raining, but it's flowing. But what happens is, inside that buoy area on the surface, all of the like goose poop, it can cause like bits of algae to kind of float around in there. So I kept my kid out of there. I was like, we're not doing that. And then she had made a couple friends who couldn't swim, so they just she didn't go in there, but she swam close to there so they could chat with each other and stuff. Oh, these are like little umbrellas. And then eventually the parents came in the water, thankfully, and they were able to all swim together outside of that thing. Because like I was trying to say to the parents, like I want them to hang out, but like I don't mind watching your kid, but I also don't want to be like pressuring you to let me watch your kid because I'm a stranger. I get it. But yeah, they eventually came in, which I think is good anyways. I think honestly, if you have little kids and you're at the beach, just get in the water with them. Things can rapidly kind of change if you're not careful. These are like peace signs, but I also think we could double a couple of those up and make a really interesting wheel. Because they look like that, but we could kind of double them up or triple them up, or we could do like something that moves maybe. Yeah, I have ideas for those. Those are fun. Yeah, so that was good. I mean, there's always one family, right, at the campsite that you're like, oh god. And those people arrived on our second day, and it was like a woman with 3 kids. And I mean, I was very friendly to her at first. I wasn't not friendly. I was friendly, but then like her kids, they were, really, really hyper. That's a cute little ring. And so there was this giant rock behind our site. So they kept coming on our site and cutting behind my tent. And if you know, right, like tents are tied like with a bunch of ropes to trees. And the last thing I wanted was for them to like, you know, come running, trip and like fall and, you know, bludgeon themselves on one of my tent pegs. Very easy to happen because there's like where we camp, there's all this limestone rock that kind of comes out of the ground and it's mossy. Like so, there's a lot of cedars. So it's like cedar debris, rocks, and like hidden, you know, pegs and things around the tents, right? Because you pound in your pegs, but you have to leave them up a little so the loop of your tent can hook, right? So, you know, they were playing and there was this giant limestone rock behind our site that, you know, as soon as my daughter saw it, she was like, oh, that's neat, but I'm not going to climb up there because on like the side closest to us, it looked really cool, but like the other side was a drop off, like a cliff down to the river. And you know, my kid knows, like, we're not going to do that, you know? And so these kids, though, they told me, they're like, oh, like, our mom booked this site because we were here last year. We really love this rock. And, like, it was right behind our tent. And, like, they were climbing on it endlessly. And, like, it was stressing me out because I didn't want one of them to fall, right? I mean, despite being my children or not, I'm not looking to see anyone get hurt. But also, it sort of felt like it was a bit of a liability to me because, you know, I'm there on my site trying to do my thing. And like, also, you know, we're trying to change in the tent and we have the windows like zipped closed, but like, you know, with your tent kind of flaps out, if somebody decided to like run beside your tent and look under it, they could. So finally, after like a day and a half of dealing with these kids being, first of all, extremely loud, just yelling their heads off, playing like some kind of a Pokemon, you know, game on this giant rock that, you know, is on a cliffside kind of situation. Finally, I'd kind of had it. And I had said to my daughter, I'm like, is this bothering you? Because it's bothering me. And she's like, yeah, they're just, it's really loud, you know, and like, and it was on the rainy day. So finally, you know, I just unzipped the one window and I said, excuse me, guys, can you please go back to your own site and play? Stop playing in our site. Stop running behind my tent. We want privacy. You know, we'd appreciate it if we could just have privacy. So then the one kid's like, oh yeah, well, we're just, you know, we're just doing a shortcut. We're running through the back here. I said, I know what you're doing. I understand what you're saying, but can you please go play back at your site? Or I could just go talk to your mom if you need, you know, I can do that too. I'm asking you though, if you could just go back to your own site. We'd like some quiet now. So finally, like they kind of got it and they left me alone, which was nice because I was not looking to be like, you know, the angry lady at the campsite, but like, oh my gosh, I just wish people like could kind of like feel their own impact on others. Like I would really like that. But they're kids and I get that too. So then it kind of settled down, but then like I don't know, on like the third day or something, like the nice hot day after the rainy day, we were at the beach and we were having fun and it was good and we came back. But like there was this whole thing where, so it was like a single mom, I think, or like, well, I mean, she was talking about her life, but I'm not going to like, you know, share that here because it was something I wasn't meant to hear anyways. And so she had done all the setup herself. Her kids didn't help at all, but also I don't really think she had asked them to, you know, and like you have to engage, like you have to be like, hey, get over here and do this, you know? So there was a little bit of frustration going on and then eventually some like freaking out, like some shouting and some like full-on family, like yeah, very overwhelmed mom. And you know, I felt like really kind of bad. I was like, you know, I said to my daughter, I said, you know, I would love to go over and try to help her out, but like I also don't want to intrude, but I think we have a bit of a tired out mama, you know. And my daughter was like, yeah, I understand. She's like, but I don't think we should go over there right now because they're kind of having I said, you're right, you know. I'm listening to little people. So I think I've gotten to the end of like what I can show you. I don't have anything new yet, but I wanted to kind of show you that the you know, the direction that I'm taking with this book. Also, I think I cut myself off 8 million times here, but thank you to those of you who took part in my birthday sale, getting 50% off digitals and 20% off books. I really appreciate you cleaning out my journal shelf. It's been cut down considerably. Thank you. And also for everyone who picked up digitals, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I have some plans coming soon with my digitals and stuff. I want to start to, I don't do a ton of digital promotion because I'm kind of slow at getting out new digital kits. Like I think it's because I mostly work toward my digitals for my Patreon each month, but like I still do digital kits and digital art dolls and things, and I'm going to be trying to do a few more. I've got to definitely illustrate a few more different kinds of like critters, and I've got a few things in mind for like Halloween. I don't know. I've been thinking about like funny things. Like I'm drawing right now like these weird baked potato people. And I don't know if anyone's going to be into that but me, but I did make like a running potato for my Patreon like journal together kit a couple months ago, and I've just been a little obsessed with like baked potato people, and I don't know why. It's just kind of funny to me, but like, yeah. So I'm working on that, and that's not going to probably be a whole digital kit though. It's just going to be a little concept art thing that I'm playing with, and I might do some comic kind of stuff with my friends. But yeah, I've got some fun stuff coming up, and we will talk soon. I'll probably go for now and probably choose some more pages for this and get them in the press. But I'm so glad you're here, and it's nice to be back. So thanks for joining me for this little chittery chattery, and I will put away and organize all these bits and bobs and come back to you with something real soon. So have a great day, guys. Bye for now. Oh, one more tip about camping with kids from the people who were really cool that we made friends with. I learned an awesome hack. A tent, just a small, like a tent, like would sleep a couple people, an extra tent, a tent that you had early on in your camping life. Use it as a toy tent. You can literally just set it up, let your kids bring some toys, put a bunch of toys in there, and they will play in there with other kids forever. Like, bring stuff that, no one's going to be bothered by. If something gets lost or something gets taken by another kid, doesn't matter. My daughter played like Mr. Potato Head and all these other toys that like things that she didn't even really care about anymore, and they played like Barbie dolls and like cars and all sorts of stuff with a couple other kids in this tent for hours. And it was amazing because it stops the churning of like, adults are there to relax and rest. Kids are like, I want to paint, I want to go swimming, I want to go do this, can we go up here, can we go down there? Yeah, it's like they need much more than we do, right? So that is the wonderful opportunity, and I am going to take that one and bank it for my next camping trip. So I wanted to share it with you too. Okay, bye for now. We'll talk soon.